All right, let's talk about the future. But not some far-off, distant sci-fi future. I'm talking about 2030, just a few short years from now. We're going to take a look at what our world might actually look like when artificial intelligence is woven into, well, pretty much everything we do.
You know, Ernest Hemingway wrote this line to describe how a character went bankrupt. But it is the perfect way to think about how technology like AI works. For years, it's been in the background, kind of tinkering along, gradually getting better. But right now, it feels like we've hit the suddenly phase. It's exploding into our lives at a speed that's, frankly, a little breathtaking. So let's start right there with the world in 2030. Because by then, AI being a huge part of our lives isn't really an if anymore. The real question, the one we need to wrap our heads around, is how it's going to reshape everything.
I mean, just think about it. By the end of this decade, experts are pretty sure AI is going to be this invisible but essential part of our jobs. We're talking about AI doing complex analysis, writing software, designing products, even managing teams. It's set to change the very nature of what work even means.
Now, when we talk about this future, we're not just talking about any AI. We're really focusing on what's called frontier AI. This is the top-of-the-line stuff, the most powerful, most capable models that are at the absolute cutting edge. These are the systems that are going to drive the massive changes we're about to get into.
So what are those changes? Let's start with the good news, the really optimistic view. Because the promise of AI is, well, it's staggering. We're talking about the potential for breakthroughs that could help us solve some of humanity's biggest, oldest problems.
Let's just talk money for a second. According to McKinsey, generative AI could pump up to $4.4 trillion into the global economy every single year. To give you a sense of scale, that's bigger than the entire economy of the United Kingdom. This isn't just growth, it's a potential wave of productivity unlike anything we've seen in our lifetimes.
So you might be wondering, where does all that value even come from? Well, a huge piece of the puzzle is scientific discovery. AI could literally automate the entire research process, from coming up with an idea to analyzing the results. It can see patterns and explore ideas that a human brain just might miss. That could mean ridiculously fast breakthroughs in medicine, climate science, you name it.
And this isn't some abstract thing happening in a lab. It's going to touch our lives in very real ways. Imagine healthcare with AI-powered diagnostics, catching diseases earlier, and personal monitors keeping us healthier. Or in education. Picture every single student having their own personal tutor that adapts to exactly how they learn best. That's the core idea here, bringing expert, personalized help to everyone on a massive scale.
So when you connect all these dots, the economic boom, the scientific leaps, the better services, it all points to one big outcome, a world where things could be cheaper, better, and more accessible for all of us. The ultimate promise is a real, tangible boost in our quality of life.
But, and this is a huge but, that bright, shiny future is not a guarantee. For every incredible promise, there is a massive peril that we have to navigate. This is where the story gets a lot more complicated and honestly, a little scary.
Here's another number for you, also from McKinsey. Up to 800 million jobs globally could be displaced by automation by 2030. Now, the issue isn't just the number, it's the sheer speed of the change. This is a massive restructuring of the entire global job market happening faster than anything we have ever seen before.
And to put that into perspective, the OECD figures that more than a quarter of all jobs in developed countries are at high risk. This isn't some distant threat. We're talking about white-collar administrative and creative roles that could be impacted in just a few years.
When you're facing a disruption on that scale, you have to start thinking about some pretty radical solutions. One of the big ones being debated is Universal Basic Income, or UBI. The idea is simple. The government gives every citizen a regular, guaranteed income, creating a new kind of safety net for a world where a steady job might not be the norm anymore.
But the dangers go way beyond just jobs. There's algorithmic bias. AI learns from our data, and if our data has biases, the AI can make them even worse. Then there's the problem of truth itself. AI makes it terrifyingly easy and cheap to create realistic deepfakes and spread misinformation at scale. And finally, there's the risk of losing control, of handing over the keys to our power grids or financial markets to an AI and creating brand new ways for things to go catastrophically wrong.
There's also this hidden physical cost that we don't talk about enough. This whole AI revolution runs on electricity, a lot of it. A RAND report projects that the power needed for AI data centers is about to explode. I mean, just look at the jump on this chart. We're talking about a nearly 30-fold increase by 2030. That raises enormous questions about our energy grid and the environmental cost of it all.
And the hardware that makes this all possible, it's sitting on a knife's edge.
Over 90% of the world's most advanced chips, the brains of the operation, are made in one place, Taiwan. That creates a huge geopolitical risk. Any disruption there, for any reason, could bring the entire global AI industry grinding to a halt.
So, okay, we have the incredible promise on one side and this serious peril on the other. But the path to 2030 isn't set in stone. Which future we actually get depends on a few really big question marks, critical uncertainties that are going to define which way we go.
A really great way to think about this comes from a gov.uk report. They frame the future not as one single path, but as a whole spectrum of possibilities. Let's dig into the key factors that'll decide where on that spectrum we end up.
First, there's the capability question. Just how smart is this stuff actually going to get by 2030? Will it be like today, just better at specific tasks? Or will we get the first glimpse of artificial general intelligence, AGI systems, that can think, reason, and learn across many different fields, kind of like a human can? The difference between those two futures is, well, it's night and day.
Second, who gets to use this technology? Are we going to have an open access world where anyone can use these powerful models? That would be amazing for innovation, but it also makes it super easy for bad guys to abuse it. The alternative is a world of controlled access, where just a few big companies hold the keys. That might be safer, but it also means an incredible amount of power gets concentrated in very few hands.
And the final big unknown, global cooperation. Are countries going to come together and agree on some rules of the road to keep AI safe and beneficial? Or are we going to see a competitive AI arms race, with nations rushing ahead and cutting corners on safety to get an edge?
So this brings us to what might be the most important point of all. The future of AI isn't some tidal wave that's just going to wash over us. It's something we are actively building right now with the choices we make every day. And that means this is a shared responsibility. It's not just on the programmers or the CEOs of big tech companies. It's on governments to create smart rules. It's on organizations to use AI ethically. It's on researchers to keep studying the impacts. And it's on all of us as individuals to get informed and get engaged.
So at the end of the day, the question isn't what will AI do by 2030? The real question is, what will we choose to do with it? The future of AI is not inevitable. It is a choice. And the responsibility for making that choice, well, that's on all of us.